Give me the thumbs up.
Well,
So we're doing audio and video?
Yes, sir.
Thumbs up or whatever.
Do we know if Kurt is coming tonight?
Kurt is not coming.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome.
Judy?
Welcome
Just give
to-
it if you can give it a couple minutes, please.
Here comes Judy, I think.
That's right, we don't have a quorum.
Yeah, we do. We have
we
four.
do. Oh, sure, what do I do? I only saw 3 people.
Well, he's a politician, so.
I get a lot of that. I'd just like to remind you guys, 2 years ago I wasn't.
I'm really surprised you didn't jump out of your chair faster when I told you it was kids in the top. I really am.
Oh.
Hey, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Just take it a second.
Yep, no hurry.
Let Judy get settled in.
Get Judy to get on camera.
Oh, yeah, let me print. Public hearing?
This is a public hearing.
Where's the public?
Thank you for being
Yes.
token audience for our public hearing.
Who's that? I don't see any of those pens around here tonight.
Which we already
I can
have.
share mine with you.
No, no.
Oh, wow, it leaked. That was a nice bag, too.
Basically, he's like,
It's too bad.
Oh, it's nothing.
It looks like a nice bag.
We got a
I
hot
made
mic.
it.
Oh, did you really?
I did.
So you were a soda.
Well, yeah, so.
My wife loves to sew. She sews constantly. She does quilts, gorgeous
Yeah,
quilts.
I do
She
some.
does her lampshades,
Cool.
pillows. There's a lot of Victorian stuff. She just loves it. She's got a crazy quilt. Have you ever done crazy quilts? No, she just loves it. She spent like
Yes.
a month doing a crazy
Oh, I'm
quilt.
sure she did. Did you put a lot of embroidery on it
Oh, she put
afterwards?
embroidery and beads and all kinds
yeah.
of stuff. It's like, how are you going to water that?
Oh, you don't, I don't think.
That's what she told me. You don't.
We have a couple at the Taylor house. Unfortunately, one of the materials has not made it through. We put a lot of satin in those, and that doesn't last long. They're really neat.
I think I saw something. There was an auction there or something, wasn't
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the September 3rd meeting of the Waterboro Planning Board. Our first item tonight is a public hearing on section 2.08, size reduction and increases. Are you here for the public hearing? So just for the record, there isn't anyone here from the public for the public hearing. The reason we want to change this is a couple times in the last few years we've had, the town attorney has told us that how we handle our conditional uses is actually illegal. And she cited a court case from 1997 saying that the town of Agunquit, where a decision was overturned because the planning board wasn't actually supposed to be issuing variances. It's up to the zoning board of appeals. So she's rewritten the ordinance for us, and with the goal being to pass this responsibility on to the zoning board of appeals. And since under old business we'll discuss this later and possibly vote on it, I guess I can close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Public hearing is closed. Coming up on appointments.
Is that your minute?
There wasn't much.
Can I get just a couple minutes before we start the planning board meeting, please?
Yes. Do you need a new sign-in sheet? It's actually the same. I think this applicant's here for an appointment.
Now, I'm just going to take and change over to the agenda for the public hearing.
Ready to go? As far as appointments go, I understand we've had one applicant has postponed their appointment. Stephen Caron. Let's postpone that to
Yes, he
Later
has
date.
requested to come before the board on September 17th.
a... Right. So our next appointment is an informational meeting with...
Can I jump in just for Chuck, going through the stuff from Mr. Caron?
Yes.
There is not a certified survey in this package. Is not.
Yeah, those were all the documents that he did
And
provide.
per our ordinance, you need to have on a substandard lot a certified.
Certified. Okay. I will take in contact him about that.
You can even quote it, it's the one paragraph right in the middle.
Yeah, it's right in front of us.
Just save time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, is that a misprint on the front page? It says jack up the camp 3 inches. Did he mean 3 feet?
It
Yeah.
means 3 feet.
Okay.
Inches, feet, and inches, feet, and
Yeah.
So the next appointment is an informational meeting with Kathy Mann with a request for a change of zone from residential to agricultural and residential. I assume that's you? Would you like to just tell us a little bit about what you had in mind?
I just bought this piece of land, 33 Martin Circle from Joe Martin's daughter. And it's always been zoned residential, but there's always been animals on it. And I have animals of my own and would like to change it to AR instead of residential. We also own 429 Federal Street. I have a visual if you'd like to see that.
We could pass it around. Now, are any of your neighbors interested in participating in this?
Yes,
Yeah.
the 2 neighbors that are right,
Thank you.
number 36C on the tax map and 36.001. They both signed and would like theirs.
I'm assuming you have this 36A.
Yes,
and
we
the
own
other
36A and 33. 36, sorry.
two- Okay.
Why wouldn't it just be easier to do a conditional use for this?
agree.
Well, there's both philosophical reasons and long-term reasons. Philosophically, the town has always been urging to keep as much agricultural or ruralness as you possibly can in the town. If the zone was changed, and because it's not an acre or two, okay, it's a substantial piece of land. One, it encourages more agricultural use, which is consistent with a comprehensive plan. 2, it adds permanency that there may, in fact, be, as generations pass down, this piece might hopefully continue to be agricultural. So I think the primary reason for the board to contemplate is that it is consistent with the thinking of the 2020 committee as well as the comprehensive plan. As well as, from what I've always heard, is that the town wants to maintain some degree of ruralness and maintain what little agricultural context it has.
You just have a seat if you want.
AR also gives smaller lot sizes, so down the road, somebody could put more houses in there and make it something.
No, I think it's different.
Isn't that,
Village is
that's
more,
what happened over here?
Village is more dense, has a denser population, I believe. Village does. you can't treat this as a conditional use. This would not be a conditional use. It's not even listed as a conditional use, I don't believe.
Okay.
So we've ended the
It doesn't
conditional
fall
use.
into that criteria. So the proper way of doing it would be
The
to
zoning change.
zone, to rezone it. And what I particularly liked about this, the applicant and I had numerous conversations, maybe half a dozen, which was just good because we got to talk through a lot of the issues. One of the issues being because of the configuration of the land, I had asked her if her neighbors were one supportive, two, if they wanted to also jump on board. That makes this whole configuration a lot more consistent.
Say that again, which,
Well, these,
The out parcel of
36C and that other
You
little
see that
thing on
too,
the
right?
bottom, so it would be
They've joined in.
all of
Yeah.
this.
You
Yeah.
see that little bump out,
Yeah,
Judy,
yeah.
of 2 acres?
Okay, yep. So how many acres altogether would be
There's
changed?
32. That's the
32.
original 32 when Shaw's Ridge owned it, before Joe Martin sold off 3 partials.
And it was,
Where is that aerial view? I'm trying to figure out what this is exactly.
Yeah.
Federal Street.
I know what Federal Street is, I'm trying to figure out where on Federal Street.
it comes back around by Straw Mill.
It's right
Okay.
across from the dog park, just about.
Okay, I know what that is,
I know
yeah.
where that is, yeah,
Yeah, I know what that is, yeah.
okay.
It's certainly in keeping with
That is pretty residential area. It's right next to the school, too.
for the close to the street.
The school?
Well, the high school.
It's
You go
right
down
behind.
West Road, so this would be right behind the dog park. The high school.
It's away from the high school, though.
But I mean, it's within a mile of the high school, so I
Oh,
mean,
well, I
it's-
guess.
it's in the
yeah.
center of town
As the crow flies.
as a profile.
Okay, yeah, as the road goes, it's,
It also has a stream and a power line easement that runs across.
Yes.
So would this come in as a contract zone?
It would not come in as just a pure change of zone. The town of Waterboro has never done a contract zoning. It certainly can consider one. It's allowed by state law. It's allowed in the community. There's been half a dozen attempts to, on the Bois Cottage land, to contemplate
Okay.
contract zoning, but it's never been exercised in the community. Doing that would mean some significant legal costs for the town. Contract zoning is really a basis of a strong legal instrument composed by the town to the hopeful likelihood of the applicant.
In the time that I've been on the board, I've only seen 2 zoning changes come in. One was an elderly woman back, I shouldn't say an elderly, she was probably retirement age.
Right.
And I think she wanted to turn her property into being able to have a 2-family.
Was that up on Ospey Hill Road?
I believe so.
the Andersons?
Yeah.
No, not the Anderson. She wanted to have a 2-family there because she was
Yep.
getting on in the age. And
That was
we had to
Yeah.
turn her down because we didn't want to set a precedent. So I'm thinking of this lady here that wanted a simple request of changing her land from single family to 2-family. We said no. The other one that we've had come in front of the board that I'm familiar with
It's a
is the
village.
Woodson property that is right in the heart of town. And I think the board's feeling on that was that the town was looking to rezone that area anyway, so it kind of worked in with the 2020 comp plan. I would have to site visit the property. I would have to have a public hearing before I could really determine what I would want to do here. But I feel, zoning was set into a place for a purpose. People that own property around there sometimes they buy in an area because of this is prohibited or that is allowed or this or that. So I'm not saying I would not vote to do this. It makes sense to me in a lot of ways, but we're also setting a precedent that we're rezoning. We're saying no to one person to have her kids be able to move on the property to help take care of her, and we're saying yes to a horse farm. So I mean, I'm struggling with this in my mind, how the fairness is.
May I comment on that? Change of zones are really peculiar animals. And it's best not for the board, this is my real strong recommendation to you, not to look at all cases and compare them to each other.
Yep.
each case needs to stand on its own grounds, and each case has its own merits. And because the town of Waterboro has no guidelines or rules for change of zones, we have, the best thing we can do is to see if it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. Secondly, in this particular case, weighing it on its own individual merits, it's a rare moment, it's a rare occasion that you have an applicant come forward that wants to make it less intensive,
Yep.
and to also promote having agricultural land, and that's a broad context, but whether it's a horse farm or growing a large garden, I think it's quite remarkable that you could take 30 acres of land in Waterboro and have neighbors and the primary applicant agree on, in essence, downzoning it. It's actually a downzoning.
And I understand that it's a down zone.
Most zones are
Can you put
upzoned
pigs there now?
to enhance.
Exactly. You know, can you put, once you do this, can you put pigs there?
Well,
That
either
would
way,
be- You know, it's not for right now. I'm not trying to give the applicant a hard time with it, but I'm looking at, this was targeted by the town to be a village district. This is where
It's not
they
village,
want.
it's
Not
residential.
village,
No,
residential.
but
Is it residential?
Right.
I thought it was village.
Well, it's
No,
AR, it's AR across the
residential.
street.
It's AR across the street.
So it's from residential. I thought for some reason
All
that
these
it
lots
was,
on the
that it was
sides of
village
this,
zone.
are there any buildings there? The lots up next to you?
So that
Buy
would
it
call,
up, are there any buildings,
residential is
houses?
what for a zone?
There's 3060 and 36.001 has a house.
You need
Right, what
2
about the
acres.
38.4 and
In
31A?
residential, you need 150
They
foot
also have
setback.
houses right there, yes.
How does it compare to?
But that's on a different
Right
road.
there, you have to double
That's
the
right, separate
land
road.
need.
But either
That's
way,
the
we'd
same.
have a public hearing and
This
those
changes.
folks would have a chance to
And
weigh
actually,
in.
all of them would be here
That's the
voting
same.
What did the usage
for it.
That's
Yeah,
what I
was
was
that-
looking for.
Well,
So she's saying she can bring in her butters and that they would be in support of the project.
And I think that would mean a lot to me.
Either way, we need to
Because
have a
I'm
public
more
hearing.
concerned about the people who live there, that all of a sudden their zone is being changed. And it's not like changing it down by Hannaford, where we know what's gonna happen. This is in an area that I see as being targeted by maybe the water company, putting a water main down, and becoming a more built-up area in the future. And it's honorable to want to farm, but if you're a neighbor living there, and you're buying something, figuring it's this kind of neighborhood, and then all of a sudden somebody rezones something, I would want to make sure that people in the area, the general area, I don't know what a requirement is by the ordinance. Is it 500 feet of butters within 500 feet or
We have
300
no
feet?
requirements.
We have no
That's
requirements.
zero requirements. That's why later in the agenda, we're going to establish.
But under the purview of the ordinance, we have all kinds of powers.
Is that a landlocked piece of land there?
Which piece are you?
How do they get in? The 2 acre piece there.
Is there
Is
right
there a
away?
road
Must
there?
be a right
Yes,
away.
there is. There is a right of way.
There's a
Martin
right of way.
And
Circle.
they're sure they have at least 2 acres.
Yes.
Okay.
If we could go back to the map on that Osby Hill Road, that was, one side of the road was conservation,
Yeah.
it was the side of the mountain.
Yep.
And I forget what the other side was, and we talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really,
But it was, as far as looking at the ordinance and what we're allowed to do by the ordinance, and then looking at the human factor of the whole thing, the applicant wasn't really asking for a lot. But we felt that the integrity of the ordinance was more important than her specific needs in general. So I'm struggling, reflecting back on that.
And
And now
on
we're gonna
that
do this.
particular case, to help you with that struggle,
Yeah.
okay, we'll break it into 2 pieces. That was a fault of the ordinance,
Okay.
not a fault of the zoning map or
But
zoning.
it was zoned,
But it was,
that in the ordinance, it was only single-family houses.
but the dilemma became not by the map, but it became by the language, the poor language in the ordinance that wouldn't allow for that.
So it was a loophole, anti-loophole.
Yeah, anti-loophole.
Okay.
And so I think that slowly we're starting to remedy those things in the narrative part.
Yeah.
So we want to be careful, make our corrections and clean up the narrative part, but at the same time, when we look at the zoning district here, with AR across the street, and if in fact at the public hearing, the neighbors are in support, then that may give the board more comfort in the way you look at this. But then that's the purpose of having a good public hearing. The applicant's aware that she needs a public hearing. And that would be the next step.
That should be our next step.
Yeah, I think she would have to make a formal application if she hasn't made the application already. And we would have to really get a public hearing to see the input. And for me, that would be key, is getting the view of the people that live around here that mostly affects.
Everybody's hunky-dory and happy with all this. What happens after that? Who makes the zoning change?
We recommend
The
it to
process
the
in this town is the board has to make a recommendation
Yeah.
after the public hearing, get a sense of the selectmen.
Selectmen.
Yeah.
Then the selectmen have to go through the same process, and they have to have a public hearing, and then they send their opinion back to you.
You're not in any hurry for this, are you? But it can move along.
You can see this is a process we're struggling with.
It's a process.
I'm with you, Andy. Let's move it forward to a public hearing.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be powerful. If your butters come on board with this,
Is this an actual application or is this information?
No,
The application that you have before you is the application that you will see. But tonight, it's just to kind of give you
So does the process start now?
That's the clock starts out.
okay?
It starts now or starts at the beginning of this meeting?
Starts now.
Starts now.
And again, why we're doing these informational meetings is so that the board can ask questions, and if the applicant's deficient on anything, in this case, you can go back and get all the information ready for the public hearing, so it's a valid and helpful public hearing.
I don't personally have a problem with someone changing zones unless it's affecting somebody else and they can show me that this is going to adversely affect it. Then it becomes a bigger issue for me.
in most of those cases, you're going from a AR to a more restrictive.
Yeah,
this is
but
going
that
the
shouldn't be, that shouldn't, whether it's going
But
more.
still, we're going the
that's-
opposite way,
Yeah, it can go either way, you
Yeah.
know. She chooses to go the other way, and that's fine. It probably, if you turn it into a farm, it probably gets tax breaks too. So in a sense, it probably benefits in one way because you can start.
Tax breaks for a
Do you
farm.
get
don't
tax break for a farm
Of course
still?
not.
She should know.
No, you don't?
No, don't
Get Judy woke
don't
up.
get Judy going. Leave it alone.
There's no more farm exemptions anymore. No? Good.
So
Too
how
bad.
soon could we do
No,
a
but you
public
can have a
Too
U-Turn.
bad.
hearing?
They just give you a hard time the way you handle manure.
What's going on with the 17th, and Travis came in today, Tom, to let me know that they're not going to be doing the public hearing on the 17th. So I need to send out a cancellation on that one, so
Are your neighbors seasonal or year-round?
whether or not,
Year-round.
Okay, that's not.
Who would she have to notify? What's
it would
this?
either be September 17th or October 1st for the
I'm-
response.
As far as I'm concerned, next available.
Sure.
In light of the fact that the campground, which was going to be a very
It's
lengthy piece,
canceled, yeah.
that lightens up the agenda, I would suggest if the applicant can get a list of all the butters and take care of the notification, work it out with Tammy, to shoot for the 17th.
Do we have enough time to do that?
I'll get the notice out to the papers as quick as I can. I'll shoot for tomorrow, so, and I will let everybody know if I cannot do that.
We don't have a set number of days before we can announce a public hearing, or like 10 days, 2
It
weeks?
has to be published.
It's more to do with posting.
Yeah, zoning change, ordinance changes have to be 2 weeks in advance. I'm not sure about the zone, so I'd have to double check on that one.
We should double check too on who has to be notified, if it's just direct abutters or a certain distance around.
Adjacent.
Because
It's something we need to talk about.
It's an old
after.
story, adjacent, abutting.
I think we just did a butters before.
Yeah.
But to help the applicant this evening, at a minimum, all butters that surround that property should be included. We'll make that a little bit clearer at the end of the meeting for all
Okay.
future applications.
Well, let's try to shoot for the 17th, and will that work for you?
Yes, it'll work.
Okay.
Do you want to keep the 6 o'clock that we normally had scheduled for BOSA, or go back to 7? Does anybody care?
Well, you wanted to do a sidewalk, so you could always change the sidewalk to 6 and the public hearing
if they have a survey.
If they have everything they
If
need.
they don't, I don't want a sidewalk.
No, a sidewalk for
Oh,
Katie's
right,
property.
okay.
For Katie's property.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's schedule a site walk for
For
6,
6.
and that would be on the 17th.
May I ask where you're gonna be meeting for the sidewalk?
That's
And
right
your
at,
phone and particular address?
36A.
Okay,
Right.
Katie's
How does it
address?
yeah,
Does that work for you?
yes, it does.
If I put that in my Garmin, is it gonna come up?
Is there any landmark that we can go
Put a
by?
flag out or something.
Yeah.
Like this,
Well,
we're
Right
notorious.
across the street from the dog park.
Tie a horse to your
And then
mailbox.
black
Right.
mailbox.
Tie a horse to your mailbox.
Yeah.
We'll find you.
Put some balloons on the mailbox.
Sidewalk
Across from the dog
36A,
park,
Katy,
the
you got her
17th
first.
at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll borrow the neighbors.
with a public hearing to follow at 7, as long as we have all the notifications. and
Sure.
everything.
Correct.
So, the cancellation works out for you.
Yes,
Move things along. All right, well, thanks.
thank you
You don't
very
have to
much.
stay for the rest if you
All
don't
right.
want to.
Thank
It's a
you.
little dry. Next item is, does anybody want to add anything to your agenda before we move on? Any changes or, no? All right. Next item is minutes of August 20th. I think we were all here.
I didn't see anything
The minutes?
disturbing about uses.
I know, Tim, you put a lot of work into these because there's a lot of discussion
did.
that night. You did a good job. Thanks for summarizing everything. We'll still have our site walk with Caron, Saturday the 13th.
Yes.
I may not be there if that makes any difference.
Up to you. Up to you. You're pretty familiar with that area, right?
Not really.
Up the backside?
I've never been into that campground.
Me neither.
Oh, that's too bad.
Bad time for you.
No, I think we have to go there during. No.
Any motion on the minutes? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make it.
I'll second that. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thanks. Any reports, officers? Excuse me. None? All right, moving back to the section 2.08 that we just had the public hearing on. The only thing I saw in there that I'd like to change in Natalie's is, and I think we talked about it before, is for side and rear, no, for side setback. I know we've done about 100 of these where we've gone down to 10 feet on the side.
Yeah, I would agree with
I
you.
almost think that should be the standard. That's the only change that I could see that I would make.
So which one did you want to change?
Side.
Side only.
Side to 10?
Side to 10, yeah, which is a 5-foot.
These are all,
I think she took this from another
they're all
municipality.
substandard lots anyway, sure.
Can we vote on it if we change it, or?
I think with just that change,
Okay.
we could vote if we want to send it on to the selectmen.
I would like to move that then.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Do we? I got
Oh,
it.
sorry, Frank.
Go
Oh.
ahead.
When you make a change like that, do we need to then have another public
Yeah, well, that
hearing?
was my question, yeah.
You do if it's a major change. If the board views it as being a minor change, you don't.
That's minor and it's more
And
lenient.
do the
it's
selectmen-
minor,
It's more lenient.
Exactly.
So it's
And
more
do the
lenient.
selectmen need to have a public hearing on this also?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, so they can catch it there too.
So-
So the motion is to send Natalie's rewritten section 2.08, size reductions and increases, onto the selectmen with one change.
One minor modification.
Yes, we'll reduce the side setback from 15 feet to 10 feet, which is in keeping with what we've been doing since the ordinance was put into place.
I believe it's in the ordinance now, isn't it?
I looked through it tonight, I didn't see it, but I know you mentioned it.
I thought it was somewhere it says 10 feet and at least 20 feet. Maybe we want to put that in too. At least 20 feet between adjacent buildings.
We already have a motion, and
Okay.
we could always revisit
I
it.
was just.
As
do-
opposed to
do
what,
we
30
need
feet?
Do we need to amend that? I believe now that's how it's stated, that you can go within 10 feet of the sideline as long as there's at least 20 feet between buildings on one lot to the next
So
one.
if everybody
The other
has to
lot-
be 10 feet, then you would automatically get 20 feet.
But
Right,
if you
but if it's
had a
closer
thing like the one that we went
existing.
to, that was gonna raise his feet where his camp is right on the line, then you would have to be 20 feet from the sideline. I don't,
You know,
I don't know.
and I guess my thought on that is the guy that is trying to comply with the request is being punished because his neighbor got too close.
Well, most of the time, we have the neighbor sign off also.
Do we?
Or at least a lot of times I remember that.
And when most of these were built, there wasn't any zoning anyways.
No, that's what we're running into, the old, good old. That's how the building ended up right on the line.
I don't mind the 10-foot change.
okay. I just wanted
All
to
right.
bring that up, that's all.
We know there'll be at least 10 feet between them,
Yeah.
even if the other guy's on the zero lot line.
Does the board think we should go back to our vote and add that in, or stick with what we
How
have?
strongly do you feel about it, Judy?
Okay, pack them in.
Because there's really not any wording in here
No.
we would have to add.
Well, what happens if, say that this situation happens and the person with the building that's right on the line comes here and says, no, 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 no. You know, to this
We've got
somebody
to
else's
take that into
building.
consideration. But
That's
he
all
would
it
be,
is. That's-
he still would be entitled to have a 10-foot setback, the new
It would
applicant.
be consideration.
And
of
in
board member.
reality, if you looked at it on the way of the applicant, now the applicant, we're telling him he has to be 20 feet, now he's responsible for what's happening on his lot as well as his abutter's lot. And he can't control what happens on his abutter's lot.
Right, especially since a lot of these buildings.
So
are in
I
place.
struggle with that a little bit, that, you know, he can only control what's on his property, but now we'd be writing in something that he's also responsible for what's on the other guy's
Right.
property. And I question as to whether or not that's fair to anyone.
I mean, these are basically, these are conditional use lots anyway, so I mean, they're sort of stuck with what they got. It's not like you can add. So.
Yeah. But if I put myself in the place of a person coming
I agree,
in,
man.
that's just trying to do a simple
Yeah.
raise his camp or something, or even move it a foot or two, and because his neighbor is too close, he can't do it, it's a hard sell on me. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't support that, but it's a hard sell on me.
Now, Judy, you're saying we had something already in place that said two buildings couldn't be within 20 feet?
I know it's somewhere, but maybe
I
it's in
think
the
it's more
zoning
just the way that
board
we've
of
done it.
appeals things. Is that where it would be, in the under variances? Maybe, I don't see it
I'm not
here.
familiar with it, and I've read through it pretty good.
I remember that we've
I
done
know
that.
it's somewhere,
Just-
and I know we've done it in the past.
It
Just
it
case
is
by
very
case.
confusing when it is so much information, these ordinances.
Would
and
it be
gets-
in under variances?
And that's where this is gonna end up in the zoning board of appeals too, right?
Again, this isn't the end of the line. I mean, it's going to the selectmen, they'll have a public hearing.
It's okay, I just
We
didn't,
could, well, we could always bring it up
I
there.
thought it was here, but it doesn't appear to be, so. It's not. I'm just-
Well, we can research it and bring it up again at their public hearing. So for now, it stands.
Mhm.
All right,
Did we vote all in favor, or we did or not?
we did vote.
We did, okay.
Yep.
Did we vote?
To send it ahead
Yeah,
with,
okay.
yep, with one exception.
Where's the stuff about 15%? That must be
That's in
zoning board of
208.
appeals.
No,
That's a
it's in there, I
208.
read it today.
I thought it was right with me.
Now, under communication, we had a letter here tonight. I'm not sure where it came from, I don't know if you've seen it, Tom, but it was about the DEP having a deadline for a public hearing on the campground.
Yeah, there's sort of a standard format that
All
they
right.
send out every time they're reviewing an application.
Is there anything we need to do about that?
You're fine.
All right, so they're still.
That letter
over-
from the DEP.
It's from the DEP.
And they're still overseeing their wastewater, stormwater.
Yes, I think one of the reasons that the applicant's engineer did not want to present on the 17th is that, well, there were two reasons. One, he didn't think he'd have his findings back from the DEP, and he'd like to be prepared to present that to the board, because I think both the board and I said, whatever conditions the DEP applied, you're just going to reapply
Yeah,
them.
they're gonna be
Yeah.
part of their conditional
And we
use.
want them to be plan notations
Written.
right on the plan. The second thing is I think there's still some matters and issues being resolved with the fire department and Mr. Fulfield.
All right.
Is that, are we going too far, or we'll stop right there?
Stop right there.
All right. We have an issue we don't want to discuss too much without the applicant here, and I think that's only fair.
Right.
Thank you.
Nothing under miscellaneous, and that brings us to Tom's
No good.
form for a change of zone, which fits right in with what we had for an application tonight.
Perfect timing.
Good segue.
Would you like me to jump in here?
If you would, please.
At the end of your packet, you have a draft, first cut, if you will, of something that makes our process a little bit, adds a little structure to it, and it also adds consistency and uniformity to every applicant that comes in. What's driving this form is, one, it's something that we had talked about months ago.
Yeah, when we did that behind JD's. we talked
Yes,
about
I
it.
think after JD's, the whole process is just terribly convoluted to me. It can be a whole lot more simplified and more organized, and easier for all the staff too. Should there be a day that I'm not in and an applicant wants to get some answers, this way, once there is a form, we can establish, one, a fee. Right now, there is no fee, and I think that there definitely should
There's a lot of expense for us involved.
There's a lot of internal expenses, a lot of time investment, and in almost all cases, but as we can see tonight, almost all cases, any change of zone automatically enhances the real estate value. And very rarely do people
You see
come
it
in,
the other way, yeah.
most people come from a piece of residential bordering commercial and say, I want to rezone to commercial.
Yeah, we don't go the other way.
So this is really kind of going the other way. In any case, most municipalities have a format for change of zone. This would be your starting point, and what I kind of want to do is walk through it. First, we'll start on the bottom. I'm suggesting a fee, a very modest fee of $300.
fee.
That's low.
Very.
Okay. Now, we start at site plan review at $300, then we add for square footage. In this case, you can do the same thing. Again, it'll make it complicated and it'll make it arbitrary, but there are a couple communities that I've seen that say up to 5 acres, up to 100 acres, and the formula keeps graduating higher and higher. Okay? Is there a rule of thumb for fee schedules for change of zones? Absolutely not. Sometimes the sky is the limit. In the city of Hayward, it's $15,000 base. It starts at $15,000. Here in northern New England, they range between $200 to $1,000. And so again,
What do they do in southern New England?
in southern New England,
Yeah, because I have a hard time looking at that as northern New England. That's
well,
okay.
there is a north and south divide. So,
Yes, dear. What do they do in southern New England?
well, it depends. If you're looking at in Connecticut, you're looking in the thousands of dollars just to get to the board, just to get to the table.
But it's not me, this is
And
Connecticut.
because, who we are and where we are, I would suggest anything that's in that 300 to a max of $1,000 would be, that would be your high, and this would probably be your low. but I intentionally started low. Does it cover the expenses? $300? Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
And a lot depends on how you divvy up the work, you know, for public hearings, postings, advertising, who does what, certified letters. But it definitely needs structure.
So you sat there with a straight face saying this would not cover expenses?
Yes. I doubt that
It may not.
Unless there was like,
I don't think it would.
if there was one abutter and if it was real simple, like let's take even like Mr. Allen's. That was pretty simple, change of zone. There weren't many abutters.
But you also don't want to encourage people to change zones.
Well, that's a hard one to respond to, Frank, because most change of zones are applicant driven, okay? And they do it for a reason. A store wants to come in, but it's not in the right zone, but it butts up and it's surrounded by commercial zones. Here's a classic illustration. When Mr. Bennett came in and rezoned a lot of those parcels to village, you notice one parcel was left out. It was the Episcopalian Church.
Too bad.
And the Episcopalian Church, now that it has a new owner as of a couple days ago, that church will be coming in shortly too. And I suspect there'll be more requests for change of zones. So this is kind of helping us get prepared and also covering some of our expenses. It's not to say we can't make this at 500 or more.
I think you did it again, covering some of our expenses. I think for us to do anything that doesn't cover our expenses is ludicrous.
I agree.
Too.
Zoning changes, I'm not opposed to. People have the right to
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
and do what they want with the property.
What number are you thinking, Frank?
Well, again, you said it depends on how complicated
If
it is.
he easily said this does not cover our expenses,
Yeah.
then I want something to make it so he doesn't so easily say that.
I was surprised at the number as well. I thought it was a pretty
Okay.
low number.
Yeah.
I know we had talked about $10,000, which I think is totally
We actually
appropriate.
started at
But
100.
$500 to
Yeah, we did.
$1,000, I don't have a problem.
Guys, how,
The
can somebody give a number?
10,000 could be a reasonable number.
How much does
It's
the
depending on what
ad
it is.
cost?
Yes.
At least $40, right?
The ads run from 35 in one newspaper to 45
Yeah.
and some change in the other newspaper.
And how many newspapers do you have to do? 2?
2.
We'll
And
call
we-
it even 100.
So that's 100.
And if it's-
So then you get the
And
certified
Certified,
zoning
who
change,
pays for the certified
I've got to
letters?
find
Should be
out
the
to see whether or
applicant,
not
should
we
be the
need
Yeah, it should be.
applicant.
But that wouldn't be included in the fee, correct?
No,
That would be a separate
but then
expense.
if you want to cover, and more,
How much do
this is a
towns?
rarity, I think Waterboro is an exception to the rule, but most municipalities have their staff expenses covered.
Oh, I agree.
If Tom invests 5 hours and if Tammy invests 3 or 4 hours, and let's say it's a visit to Mark, and you've got 10 staff hours, that all translates to X amount of dollars.
I
How much
agree.
is a staff hour? Average.
Oh, well, let's say it was 10 hours with the 3 of us, and we're all...
3 hours each or 10 hours each person?
Well, let's just say 10 hours
Just-
total.
Total.
Probably close to $250.
So
How
what
much?
do
250?
we cut that quick? So Portland, South Portland, Cape Elizabeth, York, Wells. What's the cost down there?
Well, see, some of them don't advertise it. They don't advertise their fee schedules. But I mean, I could go out
It's
and try
gotta
to
be
get
thousands, I'm
a
sure.
list. I think, you know, no matter what other communities charge like that, that's why I said Hayward charges $15,000.
I think we ought to change the 300 to 500.
I agree, Judy.
You know, the key is you need a starting point. Here's the difficult thing, board members, is that whatever figure we give, only the Board of Selectmen, I believe, currently
They set the fee.
can set
Yes.
the fee.
Well, right, but
We
let's,
can
But
recommend
wait
it,
a
can
minute, what you
recommend.
think is you're comfortable with,
and
and
we can back it up.
we'll see what the
I'll
select.
show up
You
and,
know, I'm all set in my mind between $500 and $1,000. I don't
Yeah.
think that's
Why don't
unreasonable.
we
Yeah,
shoot?
that'd be fine.
I have a problem when we start trying to make money on it.
No.
No, but I have a bigger
But 500
problem.
to
We
1,000.
don't cover expenses.
Yes, I do. I agree with that.
Like
100%.
this applicant tonight, I mean,
Are we
you
on
think she's
board?
gonna cost
That's what you're saying,
$500?
right?
500 at least, yeah.
You know, the complexities of the applications would drive up the cost too. Tonight's an illustration,
How do we,
a very simple one. The other one that's forthcoming, and hopefully, going in the next couple months, the Episcopalian Church, a little isosceles triangle of land.
Episcopalian Church.
Or X,
Yeah, that's right.
thank you, X church. And then, I thought, what's a church, always a church?
Yeah, that's just a sliver of land.
It's a little
Yeah.
sliver of
It
land,
is.
but everything that surrounds it's village or water. So it's a very logical zoning change. And when you look at the zoning map, you say, whoa, that's spot zoning on that sliver.
Not
But
to,
it's old zoning.
not to complicate it, but say the way that this lady came in tonight, and she bought some of her neighbors on board,
Yeah.
would there be one fee for the rezoning?
It would be if it's submitted as one change of zone request. And as long as the lands were, I believe, contiguous.
Yes.
If they weren't contiguous, then I would suggest that they be separate change of zones. So anyways, we started from the bottom.
Does she have a survey?
She has deeds. I have not seen a survey, but I've seen the deeds that she
Good.
produced from
I
Shaw's
think we
Street.
need a survey, don't we? Some kind.
Well, this is where the
Yeah.
town lacks in definition for change of zones, and we need to be consistent. Whatever you ask of one applicant, you should ask of all applicants. And so the first thing is, shall we change the 300 to 500?
Yes.
Yes.
So we can do these. Okay.
See where that goes for a while.
And I commend you on putting this form together. This is great. At least we're heading in the right
We
direction.
did this
Yeah,
on
it
short
was really
notice,
good.
too.
It gives us some organization, and I think I always like to make sure we're fair to everybody. So everybody does the same thing. You don't accuse us of, well, you did this for applicant X, and you.
We'd like to avoid that.
Yeah, this will avoid it. It would, ultimately, it'll be designed in a format where it'll be on the web, so that it can be submitted by email, so it'll all be in a digital format. But every applicant needs a starting place, so the starting place would be, either they pop into Tammy's office and Tammy sends them down to me, and I walk them through everything that's necessary before it gets on board. The property owner, the obvious things, how we contact them, their email. Then going back to Judy and Andy's point about a legal description, provide a survey plan, all of the deeds, and the comma should be an and. So we'll change the comma to an and a digital map. Because what we want to do is be able to grab this
You
once
want
it's...
that to go on your map.
Pardon me?
You want that to be presented in a form that you can stick it right on
Exactly.
your map without fooling with it.
Overlay.
Exactly. Once we have the digital coordinates on this, then we can instantly take it and transfer it over. And then most communities struggle with updating their zoning maps. We'll be able to instantly update the zoning map after it's gone through all the approvals, if it's in digital format, with the proper coordinates. The address, what zone it currently is, it's obviously the max of the tax map and lot number. Is it consistent with the plan? And then the need and justification. Why are you doing this? It has to be a greater reason than doing it to make more money.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd take the consistent with comprehensive plan right off there.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's
That's a joke.
a joke. Thank you.
Support.
You're saying this to somebody who just spent 4 years on a
Yeah.
comprehensive plan.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but we can't.
it is.
Well, the other thing
Unfortunately,
is at least, I would suggest a minimum of referencing the comprehensive plan. If there's something very, let's take here, for example. Remember months ago, years ago, we talked about the possibility of a business park / hotel on the town property, okay? That wasn't rezoned to village. Now, a local developer wants to put a large housing development in there, okay?
Andy.
Do you want a housing developer to come in and use for a change of zone request? Let's say it was rezoned to village, and he said, no, I want to rezone it back to residential because I want to put houses there. It's consistent with the houses that are there.
Good.
So you need some
So,
sort of
so
format.
rephrase it. How about say comprehensive plan reference?
Yeah, reference is good. We think that's at
So
least
they can say, yeah, over the paragraph that sort of says maybe.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good language. I like that.
So we'll take consistent with out and put comprehensive plan reference. And then if there is no reference, then just none. And then that should give you a great comfort.
Yep.
So you have to explain the need and justification for the change. So every single one is a different case. In this case, this lady may want to have a horse farm, okay? And she can't have horses in that zone that she's in.
I'd take out justification, just explanation of the need to change the zoning. Justification that's
To legalize.
just.
Justification. When would it be appropriate?
Need
Is there a
covers it.
time under it would be appropriate to use justification? A zoning change would be justified because of what? How would you justify something?
Justification.
I mean, you go on, need covers it.
If a person came in, say a person came in and they want to change the zone, and they're justifying it because we have a medical facility they want, and it'd be good for the.
When they, the need covers it. When they
I
need to
guess it
come in
would,
before
yeah.
us,
The need and justification. So that we covered in need,
need covers
and we
it.
wouldn't need the word justification
No.
under that. So I'm thinking of, is there an instance that anyone can think of
Yes.
where justification would
When
be?
they come before us, they need to justify it to us, but it doesn't belong in an application.
Or they could say somehow it's going to benefit the town, it would be justified.
So they're gonna be an argument from them.
So if we put down explanation of the need,
Is it
We're
okay
still
to,
covered.
is it okay if I debate with
Well,
you?
should
on
it
this,
just
right?
say for
No.
explanation of the reason? Because, I mean, doesn't necessarily need it, somebody might just want it. So shouldn't it be the reason for?
Need.
Shouldn't they explain the reason for,
Need.
instead of need and justification?
yeah, I don't know.
We should be just asking, what's your reason for this change?
It's fine.
Well, let me give you an example of a justification, okay? The current medical clinic, the vision in the comprehensive plan is to keep that somehow in a medical park, okay? And currently, we don't have an ordinance that allows for a helipad, okay? And there may be a need to justify a new zone for a medical campus to have aircraft come in. Thus, you're justifying it. And then you say, well, why do you need a helicopter? Well, if you need to, if it's you that's in an accident, you need to be med-vaced out, then you need a place, a legal place, and a justified place to have a helipad.
Well, along that line, if we go back to the zone change we're looking at now, she's going to justify she wants to bring her pets. She's got 2 horses. I mean, what's the need or
That's a need.
justification to
Need. Covered under need.
Okay.
Well, I think you could justify it, but it's not going to hurt anything.
The applicant's not here.
I'm sorry for using that as an example.
So,
Good point.
what I suggest is on the word justification, maybe we just hold that and think about it a little bit, because there may be merits and there may be...
You don't want to say, why the hell do you want to do this?
That gets to the point.
Good old school.
You know, that's why we keep it on one page.
So I'm not sure, I mean, how do you feel about need and justification at this point?
I'm not going to push it any further.
And I guess
just
I'm not either way, I don't care.
I
I guess it all ends up in the same place.
If I played back your defense of the helicopter pad, I gotta say, I heard you use the word justification once and need about 5 or 6 times. So I do definitely believe that need has to be in there.
I think every technical writer course I ever took would have said justification, get that got in it. Number one. Number two, when you start worrying about helicopter pads, you go get all of Southern Maine Regional Medical Center.
Yeah.
I'll give you the name of the lady, and they had it all done for the Sanford one. She's got a file with that thing. She said it's cut and quick.
I think
But
this
this
is
Well,
so
maybe that's the
great.
easier solution.
This does not say need or justification, it says need
Need.
and justification.
But-
So for that reason, I would say leave it in.
But a need could be something, I don't know what the difference between want and need is. But if someone comes in because they want to do something, but it may not fit with what's with the neighborhood, then you can't justify it being there.
Oh, good point.
So we can say no.
Good point.
I think this
But
is
not if you
so
can't
brief
justify
and
out
to
of
the
it.
point.
Yeah.
It's on one page, I think
I'm
that's
saying
great.
to keep
That's a good
justified in there.
I think if you want to throw some
I
extra
want to leave
words
the
in
word
there, you
justified
should
in
do
there.
that.
Now, everyone, this was a real challenge for me. You know me, I like to write about 30 pages for this.
I know, I couldn't believe it. I was looking for the second
You
page.
know, you frightened me. I laid in bed one night and said, only one page? But I knew it'd make Frank happy.
See, when you first gave it to
I
me,
am tickled to
I
death
went
that
like
we
this,
even
I
have a
said,
form.
oh.
I'm tickled to death that we have a form. I think it's great.
See, I picked this up, I said, oh, Tom did this.
See, I'd take the next one out,
So we
too.
can leave justification
Okay,
behind.
now,
Yeah, we're gonna just let that go.
It's
okay,
in
so the
there.
next
right?
one reads, the explanation of the effect of change amendment would have on the objectives of the town's company.
Yeah, it's pretty much a repeat of the other one,
I've
isn't it?
just gone.
Well, if we take that one out, I want to make sure we keep the context
Oh,
and
yeah,
reference to
such a
comprehensive
change.
plan above. Which are these and reference it, okay?
Yeah.
And then that'll leave more room for justification and need. Want more lines there, Frank. So I'm okay with that.
We take it out well?
Yeah.
You've got to remember on my camera,
So you're
so.
going to scratch that whole line or?
Yeah.
As long as
As
the
long as you
board
have it above.
promises me that you will keep comprehensive plan context and reference above.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're mandated to a certain extent.
Well,
Yeah, we are in a lot of places. Yeah.
And lastly, this goes back to a question that originally Andy asked when the applicant was in, a certified list of all the abutters within a 500-foot radius. Now, you say 500, how come 500? Most towns do 2. Again, the number is arbitrary. You can put 1,000 foot, okay? But, you got to somewhere draw the line. And so when you take points of the peripheral edges of the property and you draw 500 feet around it, I think you pretty well could hit everything.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's,
the
I think it has to be
500 foot
changed.
radius of the subject property doesn't say that. You need to
It says
dictate
abutters.
from the border.
what?
Well, you can do it either from the
property,
border.
from the property.
You can do it from the, there's a
Right.
lot of ways you can do this. You can do it from the property frontage on the road, or you can do it from the corners, which would mean you'll have 4 different concentric circles.
Whichever is
I think it was
most.
beginning
I would rather
property
see
line.
it written like this, certified list of all property owners within 500 feet of the subject property.
Subject property lines.
So you're not talking, because we're not talking of butters here, we're talking a 500-foot
So what's your
radius.
start
So we have
point,
to
though?
use the term lot owners, all the property owners within 500 feet, and not just the butters.
Measuring from where? The center,
From the
center point of the,
From the applicant's property
500
line.
feet.
From any applicant's
oh,
property
from the
line, is
line,
what I'm
the line
thinking.
itself.
Right.
Is that what you intend by this?
Well, my intention is not to overcomplicate this. If it happened to be like this particular site that was here, it's rectangular, you've got 2 frontage points, and you've got 2 rear points, okay? And so you can do all your takeoffs, so you end up with a series of concentric circles.
But it says they have to be in a butter. What is an abutter? An abutter is someone that attaches to the
It's
property.
contiguous to the
So if
property.
you're within 500 feet and you don't abut, this would not cover it. You
What
wouldn't have to
about
notify.
across
They
the
have to
street?
be an abutter. So I'm saying to change the abutter language to a property owner.
Good point.
Within amount of
Very,
feet.
Andy's got a
Is my-
good point.
Is that what your intention was?
So that it would be all property owners.
All property owners, and not just abutters, because some of them won't
Right.
touch.
Of the applicant's property lines,
Across
because
the
we have a
street.
lot of properties.
Property
that
corners.
Go like
Yeah,
this.
exactly,
All right.
zigzagging.
But you're actually talking 1,000-foot circle. If it's
That's
a
pretty hefty.
500-foot radius.
More than that, really, because you got
Well-
this line and that line, there's 500 feet up both ways, right?
That's a big area.
Both ways,
That is a big
sure.
area. That's almost extreme.
Are we overkill? Are we overkill?
I think that's overkill.
All
I
right,
think it
let's
might
pick a
be.
different number then.
Well, just to help the board again,
It depends what area you're talking about. I mean, if you're sitting some guy with 100 acres,
yeah.
it's one thing. If you're sitting with some guy that's sitting on,
No, but
Wait,
it's property corners.
Property lines.
Property
is
lines.
Why we're denoting property
So I
lines.
think it makes more difference if you're in the village zone, it's very extreme.
Yeah.
If you're in conservation, it's very lenient.
but if
The
you're in
only
a
place-
business
Go
zone,
ahead.
The only
Put it-
place this would be an extreme is like if somebody tried to rezone an Arrowhead or tried to rezone in a village district. All other areas are, 2 acres,
You're-
5 acres,
you're affecting a zone.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I guess my looking at it is, if your zone happens to be the village zone down by Ricker Lane, 500 feet, is one thing. It's a fairly chunk, you're affecting a whole village
Yep.
zone.
Yep,
If you're talking about out in the pucker brush somewhere,
Yep.
500 feet
means nothing.
is a very small part of an AR zone, it could be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have I think 500 feet definitely covers it.
Why don't you change it to within at least 500 feet?
Yeah.
Which means on your
We get too vague.
application.
We get too vague at that point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cut.
No, but that leaves your application open, so when you have one that comes in that you want to expand it, you can.
You know, the
Yeah,
other thing
that-
is, as we go
I think-
along, we could always fine tune this if we find out that
Well,
there's something that's not working.
may I suggest a compromise of 300 or 350 or something? and
You don't have to
see-
compromise on my, I don't mind.
Or see where this
500.
takes it. I'm saying,
it covers
does
us.
that sound better?
What's that word you used?
Yeah, you and I again.
Compromise. He's running for office.
Fine.
You can't be Republican.
Careful, we'll have to give equal time to his opponent.
300 feet would still be reasonable. And it would-
From property lines.
I'm fine either way.
If
It's,
you'd like to compromise that down, it's easier to come down from 500 than to start with 200 and work up and say, oh geez, what were we thinking?
What do you-
How strongly do you feel, Frank?
Huh?
what's your number?
I'm fine, whatever.
Judy?
In urban areas,
400?
Sure.
400, let's go 400.
400.
okay, just so you know, in urban areas, in your cities, each
No,
city-
don't too far. The way maps are scaled, do 250 or do 500.
Do
Good
500.
point.
Don't, because
Do 500.
otherwise,
500.
And let's stick with 500.
Stick with the 500.
You win.
I mean, they're wanting to change, so they should make sure everybody's protected.
Correct, because the zone change is huge. for
Did
an
we,
area.
make sure we can
Yeah,
cut this
it
out of
is.
the tape because I got a TV ad going already. Compromise right here.
So it would change, it would write certified list of all property owners within 500 foot radius of the subject property or subject
Lines.
property corner.
I say you gotta put lines in there, because a lot of
Property
properties are
lines
squared
covers
off.
the whole thing.
That's
Property
right.
lines?
It's
It's hard to draw a circle that way,
So
it'd
if
be
you could
pointing
read
a
that
line.
back to Tammy, please. Certified
subject
list.
property.
Yeah, I have it as certified list of all property owners within 500 feet of the subject property lines.
Right.
Good word, she made sense.
You actually, good for you.
You're quick.
Hey, she's paying attention over
Yeah,
there.
she is paying attention.
Yeah, we gotta see all the scribble notes, she keeps crossing stuff out.
It's not bad.
Lastly, the applicant dates the application. Planning board can set a policy as to how long you want to spend on this too.
I think that's,
To be fair to you and to be fair to the applicant. What I'm suggesting for staff review is that staff looks at it, dates it, sends it to you, you review it. Probably, again, I'd like to suggest at least a two-step informational, like we did tonight. You hear it, you can ask questions, you can think about it, then you go to a public hearing, and then your vote. I don't know how we get over this hump about it going to the selectmen and then having a public
we've
hearing.
tried over and over again to combine
It's-
these.
For
Yeah.
years, I've been recommending a
Yeah.
current meeting, and
Joint-
it just doesn't seem to ever
But
happen.
isn't there
Sadly,
something in the
says no.
statutes that prevents that? We went through this before.
But
Several
anyways,
times.
so
Yeah, I
we'll just
think we have,
continue
yeah.
to do it as we
I
have
remember that
always
too,
done
John.
it.
And just try to keep it moving along.
There's
And
something in
so-
the law saying we can't do
Yes,
that.
there is.
Oh, really?
The
There's no
lawyer
second.
said that, yeah.
Anyway.
I'm
Okay.
sure there is.
So what we might do then is, if we do planning board review, public hearing, we may want to add in here, board of selectmen review, public hearing, and then everything can be dated, there's a paper trail. 10 years from now, when somebody wants to check this, they go to
And
the
you
folder.
know right where you are in the process too.
Yeah.
The whole process is there.
Yeah.
Um,
I really like the form.
I think it gives us a lot of information, and it also alerts those that, this is the process we go through. And so, if the board is happy with those changes, you can either take another look at it, or we can immediately forward it to the board of selectmen so that they can set the fee and send it back.
I think we should move it along.
Let's move it
Personally.
along.
Yep, I
Okay.
think we're all set with it.
I think so too.
All right,
If
we're
the
good.
board votes on it and the board of selectmen accepts the fee, then I'd like to immediately apply it to the next change of zone.
Yep,
The next.
that's
Then
the,
next.
that's the
Not
idea.
anything
right?
ongoing.
But not this one,
Yeah,
because this one's
correct.
already
Yeah,
in
she's already
motion.
started.
It
She's
would
already
be-
started, yep.
Yeah.
That's
good.
That's fair.
All right,
She's already
Make
started.
a motion, do we have a second?
I'll do it.
Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thanks, Tom.
Beautiful.
Good
Good
job.
job. Yay.
Frank,
That's
favorite
definitely
motion?
some positive motion.
Motion to adjourn?
No,
Yay.
I would.
Oh, I knew it.
I haven't done this in a while. I would like to propose that maybe the planning board, selectmen together, have some kind of workshop on disclosure, how the town should be disclosing information, what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate.
No, in that case, I'd like to see Natalie come in, or
Disclosing
that's
Ken Cole, or one of them do it.
Well, just, as you know, I've been a real advocate lately about if we talk about something, the applicant should know. And I don't see any clear language in town as to that being addressed anywhere. So I personally am becoming very confused on what's appropriate to do and what's not too appropriate to do. And I have made a big stink about if we're gonna talk about, if an application if something is spoken about, or an email is sent regarding an application, I strongly feel that the applicant should have the right to see that.
It sounds like freedom of FOIC.
It is kind of, but that's so complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some kind of just basic guidelines we can set as to a standard, a policy for the town to say, if this happens, the applicant gets a copy.
Yeah.
If this happens, the applicant doesn't get a copy.
That shouldn't be any more than a phone call to Natalie to find out.
Because there's no clear procedure on what
No, I agree.
there is or isn't. And an applicant wouldn't really know
Yeah.
that something is pertinent to his application unless we notify him. The applicant, to a certain extent, has a disadvantage because the applicant never comes and talks to a planning board member. Never does an applicant ever, in the time that I've been on the board, an applicant has never approached me about his application,
Same here.
right? But people in town often discuss a project. Not with ill will, but they discuss a project. And the applicant is unaware. So I have strong feelings that when that happens, the applicant should be notified just to make it a level playing field, and he's not caught blindsided at a meeting, which I have had happen to me, and I think, I'm not dragging anybody into this, but there's certain people in town that know this and have seen this, where you come in and you think one thing is this way, and because certain discussions were made, you come in and you're kind of like blindsided with it. So that's what my whole kick about this. You send me an email and you can send it to me, why can't you send it to the applicant?
So there shouldn't be any back channel communication,
Oh,
there
well,
shouldn't
it's
be any
not
backroom deals.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Everything's
it's
supposed
supposed
to
to
be
be,
out there, you
I
know.
think government is supposed to be transparent,
Right.
right? No, it's supposed to be transparent.
I agree, but, you know,
Hey, there's another soundbite.
And a lot of this is what happens, I think, if you put too many regulations, then everything starts being done with a phone call instead of an email. You can't deal with that. But the things that we know are happening, in my opinion, should be disclosed. I don't know where it becomes, I have a hard time deciding in my head now where it becomes appropriate and inappropriate. At what point does the town have to disclose to the applicant that something has happened?
I
have no clear-
I agree mostly. I would like to clarify what we can talk about on the board when you know you've got a certain type of
Exactly.
application come in.
Yeah, you got it.
Can we sit here and just beat it up?
Without the applicant
But
being.
use them
Without
as
the
an
application.
example, use someone as an example of what we're talking about.
Exactly, because I think that crosses the line.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that crosses the line. Can
But see, I don't.
I don't
I'll
either.
clarify
You may,
the
It depends,
legality.
it depends if you clarify, it depends if you clarify, or if you're actually discussing the application.
No.
Because you're influencing what happens, and the applicant doesn't have, and this is why we want a workshop. I don't want to air this all out in here. This is why I'm thinking we need a workshop on this, because me and you don't even
I don't think
agree
there's so much in
on
a workshop.
what is
We just
appropriate
need
and what
It's
isn't.
a legal matter, is it not?
we need a legal
Tom.
opinion.
Excuse me?
Tom?
Go ahead.
The resolution to this really big and important question is that the town has been offered for every single year a certain numbers of pro bono hours.
Yep.
The planning board has taken advantage of having Natalie or Ken or
Yep.
both of them come. I don't believe anybody's used the pro bono yet this year.
But we
this
get the
question,
same thing.
have them come in.
But this is, we're
It
clarifying, this is like when Natalie comes in. We're given, we should be able to come up with a list of things that we would like
Right.
clarified.
Exactly. And they have Natalie and or Ken right here. So my suggestion would be, let the town administrator know that you're under the opinion that there's pro bono hours. You have a series of important questions. You'd like to invite the Board of Selectmen to hear them so that everybody's on the same page. Frank's got the right idea. You need a legal opinion on this.
Agreed.
The dilemma becomes, this whole transparency thing is not transparent. People understand, most people don't understand what transparency is.
Every time we get a different type of application, we end up doing it here in front of the application. We do our learning process here. There's a lot of our learning process we should be able to do.
But in reality, when an applicant goes through the process, oftentimes by the time he hits the board, everything's been decided behind the scenes.
Well, especially
It
now.
is the reality of it, and some of it, the applicant is always 2 weeks behind. An issue that I had, like something that struck me in the email, it was an email sent by the town administrator. And in the email that the town administrator sent, it said something to the fact the town administrator had gone in, and I wasn't going to discuss this, but I'm going to discuss it at this point. The town administrator
Maybe
had
we should
gone.
have him here.
No, it's not nothing negative about the town administrator.
All right.
The town administrator went in, and he realized that most of the applications for a certain project hadn't been picked up yet. And because they hadn't been picked up yet, assumed that the meeting would be of little. I take that as a slap in the face to the applicant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, if I put myself in the applicant's shoes, the applicant had to submit 2 weeks ahead of time. And the board didn't even look at it till the night of the meeting. That's what the email said. And I'm saying to myself, the town should have a policy on if they haven't picked it up, bring it to them. Some people work, they can't get here to do it. But if an applicant has to have it 2 weeks ahead of time, the board should at least look at it before they get to the meeting. And I'm not reprimanding anybody. I know everybody has lives and busy, but there's no policy in town. So these are the things that I like to hold in a workshop meeting. What should be disclosed? And on the same time, to put a balance, the applicant has to have his information in 2 weeks ahead of time, but we could just blindside him the night of the meeting.
Let
We
me
get a
say-
letter from the fire chief the day of the meeting and say that this is wrong or that is wrong, or
Can I
anybody
say-
else in town.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
No.
Shut up. I was not under the impression that those were ready, and maybe it's me, maybe I missed something, but if something's ready to pick up, would you send an email saying it's ready, or?
I think
We
I
did.
think you
Well-
did. I got.
Okay, I must have
think
missed. Well,
we
see,
all-
I didn't see it
my
either.
trouble is I don't do computers.
I think
and
I think this,
rely on
I
the
think
secretary.
we beat this to death back a year or so ago.
Okay.
That everything had to be ready 2 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah.
We wanted to see it.
Yep.
I remember
You
making the
said
big issue.
something-
I want to see it ahead of
I
time.
do.
Yeah, we
but
did. I was on board
You
with
said
guys.
something about
The
you
applicant
had
has
to
the same
come
respect.
in and look at the plans here. Maybe I
That's the way it's-
You can
misunderstood
pick them
what
up.
you were.
You can pick them up.
No, we had a whole package ready to go.
I
Yeah, I
think-
know
pick 'em
you
up.
did,
I
but
think
I
that-
didn't realize.
No, I think
Sorry,
we can
was-
each have
I would
packages.
have gotten it a
like,
lot
take them out, look at it
earlier.
independently. We just
But
can't get
it's
together
just
discussing
me.
things
Yes.
as a
I
group.
need
But we
to-
can
Because
take
he
this at
submits it 2
home
weeks ahead of time so we can review it and be
on
prepared. at the
our
meeting.
own, one-on-one.
And the letter went out that nobody was prepared for it. It looked like nobody was prepared for it
Yeah.
because nobody picked it up. In fact, some people had the time. Like I say, some people work. It's not that easy to get to them. I think I had a discussion with Tim back a few years ago when he was on the board previous. If you didn't pick it up by a certain time, the town would deliver it to you. The planning board secretary would be told, go out and bring the packages to the guy's house. I think that if a guy is spending thousands of dollars on the application, at least the town can make sure that the people reviewing it get
Especially since we just,
the information before the meeting and review it.
And now-
And I just think that should be a policy that's made, and that's why I'd like to have some kind of workshop meeting to discuss what should be disclosed, how it should be disclosed, what the procedure would be, to make sure that we show the applicant the same respect.
We're right back to Ken or Natalie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if the board would like, if you have consensus on this, ask the town administrator If the pro bono money is there, pick a date that you'd like to have Natalie here. But before she comes, as you've done in the past, get your questions ready. That way you get your best
Up front, yes.
This comes into, I'm not sure if this comes into our, we don't have the authority to change any administrative procedure. So who would have to attend this meeting?
Definitely the selectmen, but it's even bigger than you think. What applies to the boards and committees, it applies even more to the staff. For example, I'm meeting with the Aroma Joe's applicant tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I've invited, the staff to be at that preliminary site plan review before it comes to you. But I always ask the applicant to be there, always, so that we're not talking about the project and he doesn't have the benefit of what we're saying. And so if we can't have the applicant there, this is my own position, there's no law of the land on this. I won't hold a site plan review unless I can have the applicant there, because the applicant needs to hear what we're talking about.
Okay, and what happens with that is that afterwards, there's further discussion, then there's emails sent out, and I want to make sure those emails get forwarded.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you can't help but work side by side with somebody, and it gets brought up. So at what point?
The bigger dilemma, Andy,
Yeah, okay.
is what's talked about that's not documented.
Yeah.
I document everything, so that if the applicant says, well, what's your position on this? Where's your checklist? That's why I use a checklist. I go through the whole checklist. And then I give them a checklist. Say, here's the deficiencies, here's what you need to work on.
Yep.
And the same thing happens on all of our meetings. It's that, that's my own individual form of transparency, is that everybody knows what page I'm on.
I was given, when I got on the planning board, I was given a manual for local planning board perspectives, a legal perspective of what is, and it's like a 30-page document. I've kind of gone through this.
We've had several workshops
Yeah.
on it.
No, and I've kind of gone through it and looked at it, and it's mostly about proven cases in the state, lawsuit things, that this was contested down the road, and planning board should do this. I don't think it's really law for a planning board, but it's, and I thought that was pretty, so I'm not sure if that's what I should be going by, but I found that document to be very extreme, very extreme. Every note, email, anything you say about an application, he has a right, it's public information. And he has a right to know it. Does he have to ask for it, or do we have to provide it? I don't know about that, So this is why I thought it'd be nice, I would like to know what
the limits are.
What the limitations are, in fairness to the applicant as well as, because I'm one of these guys, I'm real firm on the fact the town are really the taxpayers that live in it. It's not town hall here, it's the taxpayers that live in it. And every single taxpayer, whether he has a commercial business, a farm, whether he owns 1 acre or 1,000 acres, everybody should be treated equally, right? And so, without the people in the town, there is no town. So I feel strongly that anything that's discussed in town hall that refers to an applicant, that's the guy that put the town here, and he has the right to know it. And he should, and I feel it should be disclosed to him. And maybe I'm all wet on that, I don't know.
I don't think so. I even take it one step further, and I wonder if these back channel communications and backroom deals go beyond.
I don't think there's deals going on.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of there has to be communication. And that's, I think, where the problem comes in, is that you can't really get a project ready to be presented to the board without having some kind of communication with other members. You can't possibly disclose all that information. So I'm trying to figure out where does it cross that line? That's okay, now we should be disclosing this, and this is just a matter of procedure, and we don't have to disclose this.
Of course, it's one of those things that we're gonna get in front of a lawyer and they're gonna say,
Well, they're going to say freedom. They're going to say Freedom of Information Act,
they're gonna say,
which is way over my head.
we get told years
know,
ago,
so-
you don't wanna make minutes like this, you wanna make them clean and sweet.
But
Here we are, we met, here's the decision, done. None of the nitty gritty, because that's what the lawyers will get you.
Just develop a basic policy, just like this form here. Basic policy. If this happens, the applicant is notified. If this happens, he doesn't have to be notified.
Well, I don't think you can do that.
Well, I'm not sure if you can do that.
I think you could have books and books.
Well, that's why they keep after us to use the town website, because they can actually subpoena my Hotmail
Yeah,
account
yeah, oh
if
yeah.
I have discussed any
Oh, yeah.
town business.
Yeah. An applicant can come in here tomorrow and say, I want to see every single thing that has my name on it. And we would have to provide it.
I don't have a problem with it.
And that's only gonna
I don't
happen.
have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with that either, but,
If his name's on it, or her, whoever,
yeah.
absolutely.
But to avoid that kind of issue is transparency. And if it looks like we're being transparent, then it's not an
List of
issue.
questions?
So we're trying to set up a time for a workshop? Is that where we left
I'm
off?
asking if
We
we
don't
should
get,
have,
let's get an answer back from legal.
Let's get
We gotta
Let's
get
see,
legal.
a list of questions first.
There's two ways you can handle this. One is you enhanced your legal budget, so you can use the money
Yeah.
in your budget, or you can
With-
ask the town
with approval.
administrator, because it benefits everyone, not just this board. You know, invite staff, invite other boards and committees, particularly having also the board of selectmen and town administrator here. Everybody benefits. Use the pro bono money if it's there.
Okay.
Just fill the room up.
They're generous. That law firm does it every single year. I don't think it's been used.
But you know, in a way, we would be replicating an MMA workshop that they have on planning boards and
Yeah.
boards.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but they do get to be.
And we wouldn't get any
cookie
food.
cutter, though. I mean, a lot of times we do the yearly things, that they get to be, with a few little
But they feed you.
things. I think we need specifically address some of these.
I'll listen to that thing that our lawyers do
Yeah.
more times than I care to.
So
I would
maybe
just like to see some basic
have
guidelines.
a
Yeah.
refresher course.
This is allowed, this is not allowed. That's all,
All right.
Right?
and get it
Okay.
clarified,
Motion to adjourn.
you know?
Second.
The other thing I would like to see, the other thing I would like to see,
Moved and seconded,
I'm
no
a
more
troublemaker,
discussion.
is that we have a town website. And I would like the town, and I would bring this up in the same workshop, I would like the town that when we do a zoning change or any kind of amendment, just like we put all kinds of stuff on our website, that we post the actual zoning change amendment or whatever it is on our website. I don't see why we don't do that. Everybody uses the computer. So if we're gonna have
Not everybody.
well, most people. A lot of people use a computer. It's a very easy way to communicate.
But a
So
lot
if
of
you're
that
gonna-
does, the public meetings and all that stuff's all up there.
No, but I'm saying when we post something, I don't see why, when we post in the newspaper, that there's gonna be an amendment, and we have a public hearing on a zoning change, section 2.07 to this or that, means nothing to anyone out there. But if you put at the bottom of that ad, you can review the changes on the town website.
Sure. You see enough.
I think that is just great, because now you're making it accessible to everybody that can't make it into town hall, and I think that's something the town ought to look at, to be able to make sure that the public is informed when something's gonna change. Instead of just putting a little block ad that's required by law, and it says, we're just doing this, if you wanna know, check at town hall. We give them all kinds of information on the website that isn't really important to the average citizen, but something like a zoning change or an amendment change, I think should be posted on the website. I think that'd be a good,
Especially for the amount of seasonal people we have, they may access it when they're someplace else
you can access it anytime at your convenience, and you know what's going on in town.
in town, yeah.
So if you're gonna adopt a new ordinance, if you're gonna change an ordinance, you just post, you can say, we're gonna amend this, you can see it on the website, instead of having to say, you can come into town hall and review the documents. A lot of people can't come into town hall and review the documents, but they go online and just check it real quick. So I don't know if that makes sense to the board members.
I think it's a good
I like
idea.
it.
So we'd have to talk to Dave about that.
Yeah, we'd probably have to get permission from,
And then
I was thinking of doing it all in the same workshop type of
we'd have to
thing.
get the administrator to see that through, but we can bring it to him with our recommendation.
It's easy to implement.
Yeah,
Yeah, really easy.
just have Dave
Yeah.
put it in there, then Tammy can reference it when she puts the ad in the
Does
paper.
it sound like a reasonable
I
thing to
think
do?
it's, yeah, very reasonable. I agree.
I hate it when you're reasonable.
Yeah, I do too.
So tonight we've had compromise, reasonable, and clarity.
Justification.
Justification. Why we-
But we haven't had a motion to adjourn.
So we had a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'm
All in
done.
favor?
Andy,
We're adjourned.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Look at him, he's all tired out.
Thank you. I really like that form, Tom.
Very good,
I
yeah.
think it's gonna
You
help.
did a good job on
And he
that.
did that on
Yeah, he
very
did
short
well.
notice.